Hey you guys, welcome back to the channel today, and we're here with a part 2 of our landscape panoramic photo that we shot over here in Colorado. And this is the photo, this is the finished product, right? Going from left to right, we took about 58 total photos. Granted, those were bracketed, and this is the final image. Okay, now what I'm going to talk about today, specifically about this photo, is we're going to talk about one, how to stitch a panoramic, and two, how I blend a panoramic shooting HDR, right? So we're moving up in technicality, and this process is getting a little bit more longer. So I'm going to go to capture one. So right here I have all 58 of my photos that I bracketed while I was out there, starting from the right. One thing that you're going to see when I scroll way down, especially with this first one, I didn't go far enough right. So as you can see, there's more of this bridge right here. But when we look, we're missing part of it, and so I reshot it just the right side to have more of the blue sky. Um, so here's our -1, our -2, 3, or our neutral, +1, and plus. Nope, just those ones. Those are the only ones I imported. I didn't import the fifth one. It's the only four of them. So +1, +2, our neutral, and then +1. There's only one photo that I accidentally did 5. It was this one. Right, so 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. I didn't need the 5th exposure because it's overkill, but again, it's better to have it and not need it versus need it and not have it. And so we go all the way across the sky. You can see, and so right here's that photo I was telling you about earlier, where I didn't go far enough right, where we wanted more of this blue sky right here. Okay, and so what I wanted to do was, let's go ahead and scroll back up over here. I want to find the middle, a good middle spot. I think it was this one. Yeah. So this is the photo I started with right here. I always start on my neutral exposure because that's generally going to be my base photo for when I start my blending. And within Capture 1, we come up here to shapes, and I always set distortion, sharpness, and light fall off to 100, because if you look at the bottom and the top and the sides, you're going to see that it's going to curve. So I'm going to come out, right? We can see how the picture is getting warped. So that's before, and that's after. And the reason why you're running into distortion is because what's happening is your camera has a natural curve, because it's a sphere, it's cylindrical, right? It's a giant circle. And so around the brim of your lens, that's generally where you're going to see that distortion. And so within here, I'm going to do my basic setups, right? Pull down my highlights, open up my shadows, adjust my white, my black, and that's about it. Occasionally I'll adjust my Kelvin, maybe my tint a little bit. But for the most part, once I have this photo where I want it, I'm then going to copy the settings and then apply it to all of my photos. And this is to get my photos in a good base start. Once I do that, I'm then going to export all of the photos not into Photoshop, but into a separate file, because we still have to stitch it together as a panoramic. So coming in here to Photoshop, what you want to do is we're going to now have to count our photos. So we're going to go up to File, we're going to go to Automate, and then we're going to go to Photo Merge. And then these are the different layouts you can pick. I just leave it on auto. I'm going to hit browse. Oh, wrong section. And here's all of the photos. 1, 2, 3, 4, and so on. So I'm just going to show you 1, 2, and 3. So what we're going to do is select the first one. So that's photo 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. This is the one that I had a fifth photo. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, and so on. And we're going to do all of this. And then hit open. Hit OK. And now Photoshop is going to do its thing, and it's going to merge all of these photos together in a panoramic. And so we're going to have a panoramic version of our base photo or our -1. Now there's other softwares that I use to help me create a panoramic. If Photoshop doesn't work, then I'll use Helicon, which works really well. So here we go. So we can see, don't worry about the lines. It's just something that Photoshop does. It's not going to be on the actual result, but we can see how the photo merged, right? We can see the little chunks and stuff like that. And it did a decent job. It did a good job. So now what we want to do is we're going to select all of these photos and we're going to put them into a folder and then hit Control Alt Shift E, and now we can call this our blend 1 or B1 to keep it simple, knowing that that's all of these photos in here is a representation of this photo right here. So everything underneath this photo is what I created, and this is not going to affect any of these photos down here. It's just anything we do moving forward, it's only going to be working with this photo itself. So there's our first blend, and we have all of these pixels that are showing, and that's okay because we're going to crop it, but we don't want to do that yet because we still have to do it 2 more times. So we're going to repeat this process. Hit OK. We're going to let Photoshop do its thing. The other thing that's really nice about this is we're not working with, you know, hundreds of photos. For example, when I shoot astro and stuff like that, the process for that tends to be a little bit longer only because of how many photos you're working with, right? So here we go, we got that. Now we have to get this photo over here. So what we're going to do is the exact same thing. We're going to select all of our photos. We're going to put them into a folder. Alt-Control-Shift-E, and then we're going to click the mover tool right here, and we're just going to grab this photo. We're going to drag it, come up here, and drop it. And then we're also going to do the exact same thing with the group. The group will come down here and see we have our photos. Now we can just simply line them up like so. So we have our one exposure, and so as we can see, when we click it on and off, there's a slight shift, right? And so what we're going to do is we're going to click our second layer, go from normal to different, and when we zoom in, see the tree line, how it's off? Click the mover tool, and just use your keys to line them up as best as you can. That looks pretty good. We're like off by 1, maybe 2 pixels. But that's okay. It's the tree line. It could be warped. It could be a multitude of things. but it's pretty much lined up to where it's not going to be that noticeable, right? So we're going to go from difference back to normal. Okay, so the reason why it's off right here is because it's just something with a distortion. I can see it curving right here to the right, but that's okay. So we have our two photos, and we don't need this one anymore. But we're gonna do it one more time. Automate, photo merge, browse. Hit OK. Hit OK. Let Photoshop do its thing. And like I said, there's other programs out there that you can utilize to help you create photo merge. When I'm working with bigger and more complicated files, I like to use Panorama, which works really good. Boom. So we got that. We're going to go ahead. If you want to, when we group this, if you don't have a TK panel, you're just going to highlight them all, and then you're just going to come down and click the folder. Okay. And then to make a new photo or a duplicate of all those photos, it's Alt Control Shift E. Come up, grab our mover tool, grab the layer, bring it over here, come back, grab the group, bring it over here, bring the group down, turn that off because we don't need it. We'll rename this one B2, which we know that's our second exposure. This is going to be B3, which is our third exposure. And then we just have to line this up as well. I'm just making this quick and hasty. Hit Control 0. And there we go. And there we go. Or -1, 2, and then overexposed by 1. So we have our base blend, which is really good now. There's a little bit of movement in the clouds because, one, they're moving because it's weather. And so what we'll do now is decide how do we want to blend this. So we know this is our third layer, so that's going to be our layer that we build off. So I like to start with the highlights. So what we're going to do is, oh, actually, you know what? I want to do flip those. There we go. So what I want to do is I want there to be highlight in the field and in the sky, but we can see right here this is getting blown out and there's a lot of overexposure. We don't have a good view of the rainbow here or right here in the middle because of these highlights. But we have a good one here, but there's not enough light down here. So what we're going to do is we're going to zoom in. This is where luminosity masks come in handy because we can be very precise and exact, right? Now, what we're looking at is a mask. White is to reveal, black is to conceal. And so let's go ahead and refine this mask. Look at that, perfect. We don't want it to affect the sky because in our base layer 2, we have beautiful color and detail and information here, but in the ground, but in the sky, it's not there. So we're going to flip that. I'm going to go ahead and select this layer, and we're going to apply this mask. And there we go. So we're only affecting the ground and not the sky, right? And so we have one more to do, which is even our darker layer. So I want this to be more in the sky. So what I'm going to do with this is, instead of creating a layer mask, I am just going to create a blacked out luminosity mask. Uh, to do that, you just simply click that, come over here, and then you can invert it. And there you go. Now it's blacked out. Right. It's the same thing I'm doing. I use the TK8 panel, also created by Tony Kuiper. Now, let me be clear about this. I'm not getting paid by Tony Kuiper to talk about his panel or anything like that. I've been using it for a long time, because when you get into some of these complicated color luminosity masks and different things like that, doing it the old school way, where you have to use your keyboard and come over to your channels and do all that, it takes a lot of time, and it's going to expand your photo process even longer. And so this is just a way for me to, I already know what my vision is. I don't want to spend 30 minutes creating one luminosity mask when there's a panel that can help you do that. So we're going to select our mask, and let me see real fast. Okay, so we want to affect the sky. So I'm going to hit B on my computer, which is my brush, pick up my stylus, and then now we're going to set our opacity up here to 100. I'm not worried about flow. I want the opacity to 100. Flow is going to be about my stylus, which I'm not worried about. I'm using a pressure sensitive stylus. So this is where being an artist really comes into play. This is where, being a painter and understanding how brush strokes and stuff like that work. So now we can just come in over here and add in, some of this detail that we want, right? Especially on this cloud, which was very dark, it was very moody, high contrast, high color. And look at that, we're already seeing a dramatic change, right? We can go ahead and add some of this. No, I'm not really a big fan of that. Make our brush size smaller. We can come in, not too much still. Let's do Control Z. Let's do 50%. See what this looks like. There we go, much better. Right, and we could just color in some of these dark areas that we want. Oh, we're not lined up right there, so we don't want to go there. Let's add some darkness over here. Bring this a little down. Bring that down. Right, we're wanting to have nice separation here, because we're wanting to bring that drama out. And there we go. So that's before and that's after. And it's okay that there's a little shift, because they're clouds. That's to be expected. Clouds move, things, you just have to be cognitive of that and make sure it blends well, right? But because it's such a slight move, you're not going to notice that. Now, if I was to come right here, let me go ahead and set this back to 100, right? And I paint right here. See that double line, right? We can see where the mountain used to be and how it's not lined up. That's okay, but I'm not worried about that. I'm only worried about the sky. And so right now, we just blended our -1, our -2, and our neutral exposure. And I'm not going to do the 1 over. I did use it. I used some of the light over here and in the yellow to add more of the detail. And so what we can do now is do the exact same thing. We can group those, Alt-Control-Shift-E, and now we have our base photo that we can then start processing and going into our normal workflow. And this is where you can open up Camera Raw, Adobe Camera Raw, and now we can make some of these bigger adjustments that we need to. So, let's say the highlights are a little too, too dark, so we can, pull those up a little bit if we want to. We can pull up the contrast, open up the shadows a little, bring our whites up. Yeah, I'm on. Making sure so too much. There we go. So these right here, those red pixels that you see right here, all of those red pixels, we're going to crank that up. All of that is overexposure, right? Meaning it's over. There's not going to be any information there, right? So if I go up, there's not going to be any information in that. So you want to be cognitive of your histogram and understand what it is you're looking at. So these are going to be your blacks, your shadows, your exposure. This is your main exposure, your highlights, and then your whites. And I think a lot of photographers do not know how to read their RGB histogram, and that's okay, but it's something that you should learn, because if you understand how this works, it will help you become a better photographer. So we adjusted our whites, and as you can see, the photo is starting to come along a lot better, and I haven't made a lot of changes. Let's bring down the blacks. Oh, we got some clipping here in the tree, and that's okay. There's nothing wrong with that. Let's say bring up the vibrance just a little if we want to. Bring up the saturation just a little here. And there we go. We just went from blending it together to this. And now we can come up to our crop tool, and now we can crop this photo. Now with this, we want to try and keep as much of the pixels as we can. We don't want to cut all of it out, but we want to try and keep majority of it. That looks pretty good. We'll see. I think I have a white pixel right here that I missed. We'll let Photoshop run its thing, and we'll see what happens. Come on, there we go. Yeah, so I missed the corner right here. So either A, I could come back in and I can adjust my crop, or we can just do something simple. We come right here, hit our clone stamp. We're just going to zoom in. We're going to hold Alt, pick a section of the cloud, and oh, there we go. Oh, opacity is at 30. We need opacity at 100. There we go. And problem solved. And so that's how you blend together an HDR panoramic photo. This is the finished image after the blending process, and this is where you can then go into your art flow and your workflow to be able to do whatever it is that you need, right? And you can adjust the color, the tint, add a photo filter, hue saturation, whatever it is that process looks like to you. I hope you enjoyed this video on how to blend together an HDR panoramic. I hope you are enjoying this trip with me, and if you do like this, please hit that like button, please subscribe, and I'll see you in my next video. Thank you for watching.